News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
And I'm Lisa Mateo.
Lisa, we begin with exclusive Bloomberg News reporting on what could be one of the biggest media deals in history. Sources tell us Warner Brothers Discovery has entered exclusive negotiations to sell its film and TV studios and HBO Max streaming service to Netflix. And the streaming giant, we're told, is offering a $5 billion breakup fee if regulators turn the deal down. Manuel Baigorri is a deals reporter for Bloomberg.
It would be definitely the biggest ever deal by Netflix. They've never done a deal of this magnitude. And it will also, be very, very consequential for competitors, take Paramount, Walt Disney, and others that are also growing in this field. So surprising also, Tom, to see a potential $5 billion breakup fee. That is quite remarkable, and perhaps one of the reasons why Netflix seems to be, according to our sources, pulling ahead of the game here.
And Bloomberg's Manuel Baigorri adds the two companies could announce a deal as soon as the coming days.
Well, breaking news in geopolitics this morning, Nathan. The U.S. lobbied several countries in the European Union in an effort to block EU plans to use frozen Russian central bank assets to back a massive loan to Ukraine. That's according to European diplomats that are familiar with the matter. We get more from Bloomberg's Stephen Carroll in Brussels.
Yeah, well, this is our reporting telling us that the US officials have been arguing to individual countries in the European Union that the frozen Russian assets shouldn't be used to support Ukraine. This is a key plan that's been under negotiation in the EU for some time now. Earlier this week, we had the proposal from the EU, which was meant to be either using these frozen Russian assets, I mean, they haven't been able to get agreement with among member states, or to use a loan backed by the EU's own resources to try and support Ukraine instead, knowing full well that would be politically very difficult to get agreement on as well. It was meant to exert pressure on Belgium, one of the key holdout countries, for the use of those frozen Russian assets.
Well, Bloomberg Stephen Carroll notes that the discussions come at a critical time for Ukraine, with the U.S. pressuring Kyiv to agree to a potentially lopsided peace deal with Russia.
And the discussions come as well, Lisa, as India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi meets with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The two leaders are looking to deepen economic cooperation in the face of pressure from President Trump. Putin has been on his first trip to India since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Long-standing ties between Russia and India date back to the Cold War, centered on defense, but Modi and Putin want to broaden cooperation to include trade, migration, and economic links.
Turning to Washington now, Nathan. President Trump standing by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth after a string of recent controversies, among them a second strike on a suspected drug-running boat in the Caribbean that killed survivors of the initial attack. The admiral who gave the order, Frank Bradley, was on Capitol Hill yesterday telling lawmakers he was not ordered to kill everyone on board. Now, Republican Senate Intelligence Chairman Tom Cotton spoke after the classified briefing.
I saw two survivors trying to flip a boat loaded with drugs down for the United States, back over so they could stay in the fight.
But Adam Smith, the top Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee, says he's not convinced those survivors still posed a threat.
Two people without their shirts on top of the bow of a capsized boat. There's a tiny little portion of the boat that was above the water. And they were there, just there.
Along with the strike order, a Pentagon Inspector General's report found Defense Secretary Hegseth could have compromised sensitive information by using his personal cell phone in a signal chat about Yemen attack plans.
And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
I'm Lisa Mateo, and this is Bloomberg.